before coming to Ethiopia, about traditional solving a problem, giving a solution for the differences, something in Africa. The colonizers, they are making to distract all this traditional leadership of Africa. Let's raise one thing in Ethiopia and surrounding countries. If we are giving a room and a chance for this traditional leadership of Africa, Africa doesn't continue as a 52 or 54 country, because Africa is united. For the colonial powers, this kind of thing doesn't need. I need to raise one tribe in Ethiopia. It's a Oromo tribe. It's Borana. The Borana tribes are living in Ethiopia and Kenya. When they need to elect their traditional leader, the Ethiopian Borana doesn't come to Ethiopian Guji or Ethiopian Wallagga. They are going and electing their traditional leader with Kenyan Borana. Let's see the other side. In the eastern side, we have Afar tribes in Ethiopia, Afar tribes in Eritrea, Afar tribes in Djibouti. When they need to just elect their Amir, the Ethiopian, Eritrean, and Djibouti Afar are coming together to elect their traditional leader, the Amir of the Afar peoples. Think about Somali, think about Gumuz in Ethiopia, in North Sudan, the Barta peoples, something. When we are seeing the traditional leadership of Africa, Africa comes to unite. Even when we are just exploring or learning about Nigeria, also it's attaching with surrounding countries. So this needs to be studied well and to some extent to repair it again, because it gives us a peace, common prosperity, common wealth for us. Let's continue about Ethiopia. Ethiopia is just not colonized country, but in the way of economic development, it's not unique. It's the same like African countries. It's a poor country. Yeah, it's right. But what is the main issues for this problem in my thinking? The first one, when we are seeing that the colonization period, Ethiopia is leading by monarchy. It's a monarchy government in Ethiopia. Even until the 1970s or 72, something is the monarchy is continuing. At that time, when Emperor Haile Selassie is in power, Ethiopia is more developed than Japan, than Thailand, or than other countries from African countries. The most developed country is Ethiopia. One Ethiopian birr is equal to $1 at that time. It has a strong economic power. Even the population is less. I think 40 million or 50 million at that time. Not reaching 50 million. I know it below 40 million. When we are seeing the next government coming to Ethiopia is a socialist government. The Emperor Haile Selassie is overthrowing by military coup, and the military coup is the military leaders or the juntas are just promising the people to make democratic election in the country, but the power is hijacking by the military, and the socialism thinking is just introducing to Ethiopia, and the military leadership is just ruling Ethiopia for more than 17 years. In these 17 years, Ethiopia is facing two difficult things. The first one is the Eritrean opposition, or the Eritrean ELF armed resistant against the government of Ethiopia because Eritreans needs to liberate from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
The second one is other more than 17 armed groups are fighting for their tribes because all are thinking we are
17 armed groups.
Yeah, 17, 17. Armed groups are just fighting against the government. At that time, the government is introducing to transform Ethiopia to implant a big industries like we are learning in China now in Russia because the economic model is copied from Russia and implementing in Ethiopia. So it's trying the best, but the war, the internal war, is not giving a chance for development. So all these 17 years is passing by internal conflict, fighting each other, even it was distracting the ways of the country. Then after that, what happened in Ethiopia? In 1991, this military government is overthrowing and EPRDF is coming to power. The first problem of the EPRDF government is multiplying the effort of the Derg government by zero and starting from zero. So the government is changing the whole system of the country. It declares we need to follow capitalism. At that time, socialism is in the problem. USSR is just in problem at that time. So the changing the attitude of the country and they are following to build Ethiopia to just introduce democracy, capitalism, something. But it's not working properly. For more than 10 years, it's a period without any result. After that, Ethiopia begins to grow. The current growth and the current GDP, the current economic power of Ethiopia is coming from that. I think in 2011 or 1998 something, the country is making some economic reforms and implementing economic achievement. Ethiopia is achieving a fast economic growth in Africa continuously for more than 10, 12 years. But the population of the country is increasing rapidly, but the infrastructure, the economy, the industry, something is not building like that. What's the main problem? The main problem, even the previous government is just following agricultural lead industrialization policy. Only the income or the economy is depending on agriculture. When you are thinking agriculture, if you are not developing your agriculture system, if rainfall is reducing, your outcome is reduced, drought is coming, hunger is happening in the country, it's also vicious.
Absolutely.
Also, this is a problem. Currently, the current government is just introducing another economic reform system because the current government is thinking multidimensional economic growth model. Let's say agriculture has get enough focus in the current government. Industrialization needs to get enough focus and it's working especially on manufacturing sector. Then the service sector also has a great attention. The new things added on the service sector is the IT, the information technology system, and other things are just giving a strong attention on the service sector. And the fourth one is tourism. Ethiopia has more tourist attraction destinies, but we are not working on that. Even those destinies doesn't repair, doesn't make them good. If some tourists are coming to visit some natural areas, they need to get a good hotel around there, but we are not building a hotel. The tourists are just staying in the farmer's house. It's traditional house, not comfortable. We are building these things. Tourism is just getting a strong attention, and the fifth one is also mining, because Ethiopia have so many natural resources, but we are not using them still. We are not using them still. So now we need to use them to increase.
So what's the main source of Ethiopian economy? What's
the main source of the highest is agriculture. Still. Agriculture. Currently, service is coming as a second, and the main problem is the population of Ethiopia is increasing. 17% of the population is young population. Young population needs to work, so the government needs to create an employment opportunity. But the problem of my country is the employment opportunity is not related with the young generation. So that's why more than 22% unemployment. All right, 22% of unemployment is a big problem. A big problem. This one is lead to the poverty in the country. If you are not working, you are in poverty. You are not generating income. You need to wait for aid, something. So the main income is coming from agriculture. By the way, I think 80% of the peoples are agrarian currently. We need to transform this one.
So Ethiopia still exports primary goods.
Yes.
So we're still in the process of industrialization now, turning those goods into other products.
No, currently we are just sending primary goods, exporting primary goods. But currently we need to change this one, and the government is working to process those goods and to add some value to export.
You mentioned some critical things. Is the issue of diversification, which is the African experience in most countries. These countries have not been able to diversify in spite of the enormous potentials. And you talked about conflict. You know, conflict is it's across Africa. I'm not sure there's a nation in Africa that doesn't experience one kind of conflict or the other. And conflict is not limited to Africa. There's a role that media has also played in the negative concerning African conflicts. You know, while we underscore the reality of those conflicts and the effects, impact on our economy, I still also believe that the media, especially the Western media, have exaggerated the African situation, you know, and we can't, let's talk a little bit about the conflict. What is the way forward to our security situation? Because we've seen how much, you talked about tourism sector. Tourism sector, nobody wants to come to a place where there's war. Really, no matter how beautiful the place is, once I know my life is not safe, I'm not flying in, right? There's an angle of not investing in the tourism infrastructure in Africa. Africa is the most beautiful place you can ever be in the world. There are so many places across Africa that you would love to just visit, you know. But the problem is security. I talked about the infrastructure. Sometimes there are tourist sites that are not accessible. There are no good roads to get there. People are scared of being kidnapped. People are scared of getting into the middle of war. You know, so those are issues that are affecting even diversification, especially tourism. Tourism is, when you think of tourism, you want to go to a place you want to relax your mind, not to a place you want to be agitated, worried, and all that. So if we don't tackle the security issues in Africa, tourism will still be what it is. We won't be able to explore tourism for national development as against, let's look at other developed countries, you know, that have diversified. For example, United Arab Emirates have diversified its economy to tourism. service sector and tourism. And
Yes.
tourism is doing very well because you're flying to Dubai. You're not worried whether a gun is going to be fired. you know, you're not worried whether your life is safe or not. So what's the way forward concerning the security matters?
Uh, uh, the main problem for me is starting differences from the way of leading the continent and our thinking about resource.
Yeah.
And some of the conflicts is exaggerating in medias. See, in my country, there is some conflicts. Even currently, there are some conflicts. The conflicts is focusing on tribes.
Yeah.
Because armed groups are thinking and just talking about our tribe is not beneficiary from this system, something. So, as Africans, we need to think about the continent or about the countries in Africa. To think about the continent, we need to think about our countries, separate countries. After that, we need to think about black peoples, African peoples. The main problem for those conflicts is me and above me, my tribe, my family, my village, my something is the problem. But we are big. We are big. We have unique natures.
Yeah.
We have good weather conditions. We have good natural resources, natural places, not artificial, like we are seeing in Dubai or something, not artificials. We are finding the original nature creations in Africa. We need to think this kind of thinkings and this kind of problems are happening because of our thinking, our nature, and some are just injecting to us to think like that, to continue like that. See, much of African governments always are facing opposition.
Yeah.
Why? We are always opposing. Even sometimes when you are doing good things, opposition are coming from you. Even think about some former leaders of Africa, they are just fighting to the benefit of their people.
Yeah.
But they are facing so many bad oppositions. They are just overthrowing by military corps. They are just assassinated, something. Those brilliant leaders of Africans. So for me, it's difficult to answer this question, but we need to think about not me, about we, about the country, about the continent. If you are thinking like that, if you am thinking above me for my country, above me for black peoples, Africa is becoming a great power for the world. Yeah. Think about South African World Cup. At that time, all Africans are just initiating.
We gathered around. Threw our supports around.
It's a future for Africa. Africa is a rising continent. We need to think about Africans. Something. This kind of revival is coming as Africans. After the organized establishment of African Union, I think that time is just you are just encouraging, you are thinking, you are prouding as Africans. You need to think as Africans. It's just a Pan-Africanist movement. Is at that time is just reaching its peak point for me. So we need to back that one to work for Africans, to work for future generation. See, this country, currently me and you are here in China. The Chinese are facing a bloody war. Think for long years, from 1921 up to 1949, this period is a war period. They are fighting each other. But after they are establishing the People's Republic of China, still now, they are giving a chance for one government, one political party. So where are they
Communist
now?
Party.
Where are they? Where are they? But that party is not a divine power or something. It has a mistakes, it has a weaknesses. But the people of the China is just thinking they are not just always opposing it. They are giving it support to change the country. First, they are making
and they are seeing results.
Yeah. So these results, this country is now big country in the world. It's a big economy, but at that time there are just more poor than Africans. More poor than Africans. Not at that time. Also, when they are establishing People's Republic of China, they are poor.
You know, the issue is Africans will support whoever is giving results. It's the problem is we have not found people, leaders that have committed to genuine national development. Regardless, let's look across Africa. You know, we have not been able to find. It's not about these guys here, the Communist Party, regardless of their errors, regardless of their challenges, they have been able to consistently show results. They have been consistently able to push their country forward such that it's now one of the most powerful countries in the world. You know, this is results. You know, and it is a function of some leaders that have gathered somewhere and committed themselves to achieving these results. That is what we've not had in Africa. We've seen the recent coup developments in across Africa, you know, and it's just a testament to the fact that people are not seeing results. More people are coming into poverty, more people are unemployed. The government, people are seeing the political leaders driving luxurious cars, living in mansions, eating whatever, lounging, flying around the world, while the poor people have no access to basic commodities, basic infrastructure, no roads, no hospitals, no good education system. So I think when people begin to see the commitments of leaders and see tangible results, development, as I said earlier, it's a long-term plan.
Yes.
You don't achieve development in a day, you know. United States didn't arrive there today. You know, it's been a journey of so many years, so many decades, you know, for them to arrive there. So as we're rounding up now, because we need to go, let's look at the African Free Continental Trade. There is a new impetus in African integration now. Of course, we won't ignore the fact that so many countries are reluctant, so many countries are still being controlled by some powerful nations that doesn't want Africa to integrate. You know, why are people so scared of Africa development? Why are people so scared of Africa becoming a power? Of course, I believe sometimes in the future, Africa will become one of the most powerful continents in this world. So let's look at that free continental. We still have countries with very big restrictions on movement, visa issues, you know. And we have seen developments. For example, Rwanda has announced just last year free no visa for African countries. I think the Gambia, there are some couple of countries in Africa, such as that you don't have to go with visa. Why do I need visa to come to Ethiopia? Why do you need visa to come to Nigeria? I think we have a visa on arrival now. Not sure of that. So that also is a testament to the new impetus. Our leaders are now realizing that we really need to come together. We really need to trade together. and all that. So do you have confidence in the African Free Continental Trade Agreements?
Yeah, it needs to achieve. By the way, Africans' development, Africans' cooperation, failure is starting from the organization of AU, African, the current AU, as establishing first African countries unity something. The name is not African Union.
Yeah.
At that time,
Organization of African Unity.
Unity, OAU, OAU. At that time, like Kwame Nkrumah and other Pan-Africanist leaders, they need to establish African Union because they are thinking Africa becomes a one country, strong country. See this country. It's a big country with a big population, more than African population, the whole African population, but it's one country. So the economic power, political power, military power is coming from this. Even Africa needs to be united because no unique population, no unique people are living in Africa. All the people, their culture are interrelated. Their color is the same, their way of thinking, their culture, much of them are just interchanging cultures. So this kind of thinkings and organizations always they are not meeting their goals. Before we are thinking about this, think about ECOWAS, IGAD, some organizations of regions. We are not seeing they are achieving their goal well. They have some contribution, they have some efforts, but the goal is not achieved. The goal is becoming to achieve when Africans are thinking as one people, as one country, as one power. When we are thinking as that, we become so powerful, so powerful. So we need to think about that. As you say, if I need to come to Nigeria or Ghana or something, I don't need to be forced to take a visa, something. This is a process. So we need to think all African countries are for Africans, and we need to allow African people's movement around the continent, and we need to think about as a one continent, as a one country. If we are just gathering together, strengthening our unity, we are becoming powerful. If we are separated, if we are just entering to conflict each other, we are weak. If we are weak, always those powerful countries are playing their role, playing their bad role to divide Africa, to make conflicts, to make wars among the countries. There are so many wars happening in Africa among countries, even in my country with Eritrea. It's a few years history. A war is happening. So we need to avoid these kind of things and to achieve African unity first in terms of human beings movement and economy interactions first. This one, when it was growing, it leads to have the common currency, African currency. We need to just think about that one, common African currency. Why we are depending on dollar, or why we are depending on the euro or something. We need to think about African currency. After that, we need to think about common power together, common military together to defend Africa from any unwanted things. After that, African peoples becomes one and strong. It needs process, but for me, it's realizing for the future generation.
Absolutely.
For the future generation, this thing is a basic thing to survive in the world, to become powerful in the world, even to get respect. Now, go to European or something, there is a racism there. Why? Why? Think about Chinese peoples. They are facing this one before 100 years, 15 years, something. They are facing like black peoples. Now, who is just seeing by the eye of racism the Chinese? No one. No one.
Because they are
they are
respected now.
strong, they are respected. Their strongness is coming from their big country, big economy, big military, big technology. They are getting their respect from this.
And the
Africans
strength in international economic relations,
yes,
international politics.
yes. So we need to think like that. Respect is coming from wealth, bro. Respect is coming from your power.
Yeah.
Respect is coming from your unity. If I am not respecting you and you are not respecting me as a black peoples, we don't expect to respect from others.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm thinking like that.
Wow. Thank you so much, Asmiro. Come to the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And I hope we're having our Ethiopian coffee after now.
Okay. We can.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.